So you want to be richer than 99% of people by a young age. It's not about working harder, it's actually about thinking and acting differently. To get into the top 1%, you have to do what 99% of people are not willing to do. That means making certain decisions and sacrifices, taking calculated risks, and building systems that most people either ignore or shy away from. And so in today's video, we'll cover the strategies that anyone can employ that will set them apart from the rest. It'll just be up to you to actually do it and execute on it. To get richer than 99% of people by the age of, let's say, 40, we need to first define what it means to be someone in the top 1% of all households by the time you're that age. Once we're able to define that, then we can actually formulate some strategies and steps to get there, which will be revealed in the next section of this video. The top 1% at age 40 is defined by the following financial metrics. If we're talking in terms of income, a top 1% income at the age of 40 is roughly around $1 million per year, according to the latest data from 2023. If we're talking net worth, the top 1% of household net worth at the age of 40 is going to be $4.7 million. Now, again, this is household net worth. If you are single at the age of 40, there isn't sufficient data on that particularly, but you could probably assume it's a little bit more than half or maybe half of that. Lastly, if we're talking average 401k or retirement account balances, the estimated top 1% retirement savings by age 40 is going to be around $730,000 at the low end to $1.2 million at the high end. So as you can see, these numbers are not easy to hit, but of course, being more successful than 99% of people wasn't going to be easy, because if it were, everyone would be doing it. Now, if you actually want to be richer than 99% of people by the time you're age 40, you need to do these three things. 1, you need leverage. 2, your money needs to work for you at all times. And 3, you need income sustainability. Let's discuss number 1 first, which is leverage. Leverage is what separates those who merely work hard from those who work smart and scale their efforts. There are several forms of leverage, and you'll need to understand and use at least one, if not all, if you want to be richer than 99% of people. Here's a list of 18 types of jobs from the Financial Samurai blog that can net you over $1 million in earnings per year, which would put you in the top 1% of incomes. I want you to simply pause the video right here and look through some of these titles as well as jobs and think about any commonalities that they might have. All right, hopefully you're done pausing. The first thing that I particularly noticed was that all these roles leverage skills and work in ways that can scale to even more people down the line. Let's say you're the managing director of an investment bank. You wouldn't think that would scale very well, but you might be working on a merger or acquisition of 2 companies that could create a ton of value for the end users of said company. For example, Amazon bought Whole Foods back in 2017 for $13.7 billion. And at first you might be wondering why Amazon wanted a grocery store, but these days, if you log into the Amazon app, you can now see that they offer groceries. They leveraged Whole Foods physical stores to learn about the grocery business, but also enhance their distribution network of their services. If you've used Amazon to get groceries delivered, then you are one of those end users that have benefited from the merger. Me in particular, I like to order my Diet Cokes on Amazon, so as you can see, some managing director of an investment bank had a kind of a hand in that. And if you're that managing director, you can see that your work is then loosely tied to millions of people using the Amazon app to order groceries from it. And there's leverage and scale with that role there, even if it is indirect. The highest paying opportunities reward scale and leverage, and most of these jobs on this list will have some sort of direct or indirect method in which leverage is used to apply a person's skill to an industry. Now, there are hundreds of other jobs that can make over $1 million per year. You are not limited to this list by any means, but this list definitely has some good examples. The second form of leverage you must understand is something called zero marginal cost of replication. This is for those people that can operate in a space where the offering that they offer has no cost to replicate it further. Take an entertainer, for example, a musician, or perhaps your favorite podcaster. They make the song or the podcast or their product once. Now, even though they just make it one time, they're able to benefit from the scale of the internet and have millions of people listen to that one copy. Taylor Swift has had songs that have been streamed billions of times, and I would know because I've probably streamed Love Story 500 million times in my life. But how many times did she have to record the album version of Love Story in her studio? The answer is only once. So this ability to have what's called a zero marginal cost of replication means that she's leveraging her skills and talent in a way that pays her quite handsomely. It just basically means for every subsequent copy of what you offer, there are zero costs associated with it. Compare creating that to, say, a book. You would have to spend money to create another copy of a physical book because there's paper involved, ink, shipping, etc. So I'm going to put on the screen an entire list of zero marginal cost of replication items that you could consider if you're an entrepreneur. There are things things such as digital media like videos, ebooks, courses, or music, software like apps, digital templates such as Canva designs, graphic design templates, content such as podcasts or this YouTube video, as well as intellectual property such as patents. All right, so hopefully you understand that concept now. Now, there is a third form of leverage, and that is equity. Even if you don't have direct leverage like a podcaster might have, or you don't have a super high paying job like the managing director of JP Morgan, you can still be richer than 99% of people with the right amount of equity. Imagine you went to work for NVIDIA as a marketing manager. You were awarded stock options in 2015 that could be well worth over $4 to $5 million as of today. So that's another way you can get leverage even while working a corporate salaried job. If you own any stake in a company, whether it's through stock options at your job, investing in startups, perhaps founding your own business, you benefit directly from the growth and success of that company. Another way to get leverage through equity is through the stock market. Now, this is easier said than done, but imagine finding an undervalued stock and putting a large, concentrated bet on said stock. It would have extreme risk, but also high upside. Definitely not a strategy for the beginner or faint of heart, as volatility can be quite emotionally or mentally draining, but it could have a lot of rewards at the end. In fact, these opportunities are really hard to come by that even Warren Buffett, the greatest investor in our time, has said that, quote, "In 58 years of Berkshire management, most of my capital allocation decisions have been no better than so-so. Our satisfactory results have been the product of about a dozen truly good decisions. That would be about one every 5 years." And this should be shocking to you. The world's best investor who invests every day for a living says that he makes one good decision every 5 years. Now, that one good decision probably gives him an extraordinary result to his portfolio, but that's the power of identifying great opportunities and leveraging equity when it comes to building wealth. And fourth, there's the concept of network leverage. So sometimes it's really not about what you know, but who you know. I'm sure you've heard that before. Surrounding yourself with high achieving individuals could create opportunities for you down the line. It could get you access to deals or information that other people don't have. And sometimes being a pleasant person can pay dividends for you later on in life. Imagine you position yourself in the right geographic location and start to get to know the community around you. I'm sure there will be some opportunities that come your way if you maximize your opportunities for exposure. So leverage is something we definitely want to achieve to be richer than 99% of people in order to at least maximize our income in our earning years. But that brings me to point number 2 in our big plan today, which is that we need to make sure that our money is working for us. What does that mean exactly? It means that we aren't spending all the money that we're earning. We are actually investing a large portion of that consistently over time. So that means your money isn't sitting idle in a normal checking or savings account. It's actively earning you some percentage of money either through investing in the market, investing in real estate, a high yield savings account, investing assets that produce income. You could also receive dividends from a business venture. Now, in terms of investing in the stock market, there is one tip that can get you automatically in the top 5% of all investors. This strategy is boring, but can actually achieve insane results with compounding. So listen in on this next quote on endurance and why you shouldn't actually try to beat the market, but just aim for average returns.
I think it's extremely hard to beat the market, and very few people will do it. But I think there are really smart people who can do it, and people who I know who I could invest with. The reason I don't is not because I don't believe it can be done. It's because the variable that I want to maximize for in my investments is endurance. If I can just earn average returns for an above average period of time, it's going to lead to amount of success that will literally put you in the top 5% of investors.
So if you just do this one action, it can put you in the 95th percentile of all investors. You're basically already almost there to being richer than 99% of people. To get into that top 1% of people, we need to focus on investing, but also compounding the wealth and then let time work its magic. If you've watched my video on your net worth exploding after it reaches $100,000, you'll know that in terms of time, making the first 100K out of $1 million takes 25.5% of the total time to get to $1 million because all of the friction is in the beginning. So if you're able to take advantage of leverage, but also compounding, you can shorten the time that it takes you to reach your first $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, and so on. The third and final piece of becoming more rich than 99% of people is that you need what I call income sustainability. You need to build a system that allows you to generate high, sustainable income over time. The key here is longevity, earning a lot consistently for the majority of your years, let's say before the age of 40, so that you can compound that wealth into a bigger pile. Now let's go over some common traits of the top 0.1% of income earners. So this is the top 10% of the top 1%. These are the people that have figured out how to generate a high amount of income that is long lasting. According to Financial Samurai, these people have the following traits. They are highly educated. They have tremendous desire, grit, and determination, personability, expertise, they have a strong network, they take calculated risks, and lastly, they are lucky. I'm glad that they acknowledge that you're gonna need some sort of luck, whether you make your own luck or perhaps you stumble into it. Now, what happens if you don't have a strong network or you live in a place where you don't know that many people that are striving to be better at their finances? One thing you can do is try to join a financial community, perhaps online. So I personally started my own private community where we are all actively trying to be in the 1%. And in there, I even share with you guys what I'm investing in, as well as give you 2 exclusive videos per month not seen on YouTube. I will leave a link down below for that in case you're interested. Okay, so knowing that these are some of the common traits of high performers, what should you do? Number 1, I'd focus on always educating yourself and improving your own skills, especially if they are high income skills. Skills like software development, creating media, doing sales, negotiating, investing, wealth management, financial modeling, etc. By doing so and gaining expertise in one of these higher income skills, you can start to not only increase your income, but increase the chances that income stays high for a longer period of time. Another way to build income sustainability is just straight up having multiple income streams. A common thing with many millionaires is having multiple income streams. So according to Tom Corley, the author of Rich Habits, 65% of millionaires usually have 3 income streams, 45% had 4, and 29% had 5 or more. So if we're able to create multiple sources of income, we'll have a diversified mix of how we're able to make money and have income sustainability to get ahead. So here are some forms of income on the screen right now. We have earned income, aka your primary job, investment income, so that's income from stocks, rental income, like for example, from real estate or properties, and then we have interest income and perhaps side hustle income or side businesses. Millionaires usually have a primary job, yes, but some will work on a second income stream that could eventually grow into a nice business on its own eventually. And if that business gets to a point where it potentially could replace your primary income, then that could be a really great thing. Take Graham Stephan, for example, our friend Graham on YouTube, someone I look up to in the YouTube space. He started off as a realtor for most of his early and mid 20s, but then would make YouTube videos on the side until eventually his YouTube income replaced his realtor income, and now he's just a full-time YouTuber and podcaster. He's built up a really great name for himself, and judging by his videos on his portfolio, he is decidedly richer than 99% of all people at his age. My main takeaway today is that if you want to be richer than 99% of people, you have to do extraordinary things. I don't think that it's impossible, and I've actually laid out a framework for you in this video today and also shared what I think are the most common traits of those that are super successful so that you can replicate it. If you want to reach even higher highs like $10 to $20 million in assets by the time you're 40, I think that's when you need to get creative. Your time can't be tied to your earning potential, and you need to build something with equity or value in order to have a much more meaningful payoff. I do want to leave you guys with one sobering thought though, which is that think deeply about why you want to be that rich. Because if you do end up becoming richer than 99% of people, you want to make sure you did it in a way where you aren't hating 90% of your waking hours. And also, if that is you, please invite me to your wedding because that would be pretty cool. If you're interested in what the average net worth is by age in 2025, you want to make sure you check out this video right here. I think this will give you a lot of great data and some more tips on how to break through, let's say, the top 10%, 5%, or even 1%. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I post there all the time, and check out my private Discord community down below. And I will see you guys in that video or the next video on this channel. All right.